Thank you. I just want to start off with saying that these military operations against Iran have been spectacular. In a matter of months, we have degraded the largest state sponsor of terrorism beyond what I thought was possible, probably more to come. Ms. Secretary, 900 pounds of 60% enriched uranium, do we all agree that's what Iran has buried somewhere?
In this format, some of that should be classified, so I wouldn't comment on the exact amount of anything.
Okay, well, it's just pretty well known. They brag about it. Is it possible they could have 60% highly enriched uranium without them cheating in the past?
We know in every context of what Iran has undertaken, they've lied and cheated.
The answer is no. Everything that Obama and Biden did was designed to keep it to a civilian nuclear program. There is no way in hell they can have 60% highly enriched uranium unless they cheat. So everything y'all did failed. And you want to criticize? You failed. You allowed Iran to be a threshold nuclear nation. Everything you did failed. Missiles, Diego Garcia. Did they shoot missiles at Diego Garcia, General Kane, the Iranians?
Yes, sir, they shot a few.
Under the protocols we had in place, were they supposed to be able to do that?
Without reviewing the fine print, I believe the answer is no.
No, they weren't. You failed there. You failed to stop Iran from being a nuclear threshold nation. You failed to stop Iran from having missiles that could go thousands of miles. Why should we listen to you? Bottom line here. China. Does China buy 90% of Iranian oil, Ms. Secretary?
China buys a very large percentage of
Okay,
Iranian
90% is pretty large. So does China buy, are they the largest purchaser of Russian oil and gas?
I would imagine they're up there, Senator.
They are. They're the largest. So President Trump, when you go to China, realize that the person you're talking to is propping up Russia and Iran. I appreciate what you've done in Iran. I appreciate what you're trying to do to end the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Do you agree with me, Mr. Secretary, that of all the countries on the planet, China could have the most influence of ending this war if they chose to?
I think the most influence is in President Trump's hands and what he decides to do, and he'll set the terms of how
What if China stopped
But
buying?
ultimately, China has a lot of leverage, you're right.
Yeah, they did. What if they stopped buying 90% of oil from Iran? That's not President Trump. That's up to China. Do you support putting tariffs on China if they continue to buy Russian oil and gas?
Tariffs is not my lane, but anything we can do to put pressure on people, I usually support.
Well, do you believe that when we put pressure on India by a 25% tariff for buying Russian oil, they kind of backed off?
I would say I've had a front row seat to the efficacy of tariff policy, yes.
Yeah, I think it works, guys, and we're on the breakout here in a minute of having a bill that would give the president ability to tariff the largest purchasers of Russian oil and gas, and I hope he will use it. So I just want to, Pakistan. Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft, General Kane?
Sir, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
Sir, I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing negotiations and Pakistan's role.
Secretary Hexton, if the mediator is allowing reconnaissance aircraft in Iran to be parked in Pakistani air bases, do you think that's consistent with being a fair mediator?
I wouldn't want to get in the middle of these negotiations.
Yeah.
I want
well,
maximum
I do.
efficacy
I
for
want to
our
get in
people.
the middle of these negotiations. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells me we should be looking maybe for somebody else to mediate. No wonder this damn thing is going nowhere. So, you know, I appreciate all you've done. I'm very supportive of it. But when it comes to Pakistan and China, enough already. Thank you.
During a heated Senate exchange, Senator Lindsey Graham strongly defended recent U.S. military operations against Iran, describing them as highly successful and claiming they had severely weakened what he called the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. He argued that Iran's stockpile of highly enriched uranium proved that previous diplomatic efforts under the Obama and Biden administrations had failed to prevent Tehran from advancing toward nuclear weapons capability. Graham repeatedly accused Iran of deception, insisting there was no way the country could possess 60% enriched uranium without violating international agreements. He used the moment to attack prior U.S. policies toward Iran, arguing they allowed Tehran to become a threshold nuclear nation. The senator also questioned military officials about Iranian missile launches and whether Tehran had violated agreed protocols by targeting areas near Diego Garcia. The hearing then widened into a broader geopolitical confrontation involving China, Russia, Pakistan, and global energy markets. Graham argued that China's massive purchases of Iranian and Russian oil were helping sustain both governments economically and militarily. He urged tougher economic pressure, including tariffs against countries continuing to buy Russian energy exports, claiming such measures had already influenced India's behavior. Tensions escalated further when Graham raised reports that Pakistan may have allowed Iranian aircraft to use its bases. Military officials avoided giving direct answers in open session due to classification concerns and ongoing diplomatic negotiations. Graham, however, openly questioned Pakistan's credibility as a neutral mediator, arguing that if the reports were true, it would undermine trust in peace negotiations involving Iran. The exchange reflected growing frustration among some U.S. lawmakers over Iran's nuclear program, China's strategic partnerships, and what they see as weak international enforcement against adversarial nations. Throughout the hearing, Graham pushed for a more aggressive approach using military pressure, economic sanctions, and tougher diplomacy against both Iran and its global allies.